because we've got you covered even on Facebook at Honor 103.5 FM or via Radio Garden at Honor FM Ibadan. And amazingly, you can also check out our website at www.honorfm1035.net. So straight to the business of the day, because there are bigger fish to fry today. We're talking about an often overlooked yet critically important topic: diarrhea. Now, I know it may not be the most glamorous subject, but diarrhea is a serious health issue, particularly for children in developing nations and regions like ours, like Nigeria, like we know it to be. So it's more than just a discomfort. It can have life-altering effects if not addressed promptly. Do you also know that diarrhea is the second leading cause of morbidity and mortality in young children? Anyway, we'll get into all of that and we'll get analysis of all of this as it breaks right today on this very edition of Radio Clinic on Honor 103.5 FM. Okay, today I've got a doctor, a medical practitioner in the house who had a big backlog, what we call a backlog, or perhaps should we say what I call a plethora of knowledge behind him. Of course, in the bag, he's got experience in this whole field. At a point, he, of course, just like we know, worked at the University College Hospital, UCH, as a registrar. One of the things I saw that really brought my attention to really ask a lot of questions today, especially regarding the past, there's antecedents in terms of the health, sector in the country, Nigeria. Of course, I've got with me in the house, in the studio, Dr. Babatunde Bawasonya. A beautiful afternoon to you, sir.
How are you too? Good afternoon.
Very well. You always look very healthy, and maybe we'll get to the reason for that, because I need to look healthy too as well.
You are looking healthy yourself.
Not exactly, doctor. It's me that knows what's doing me.
Everybody that is knowing what is doing them.
Okay, doctor, today we are talking about diarrhea, and I really want to get into the mix of this, because there's a lot of myths really. One of the myths is that the seasonal flu is what causes diarrhea. Others have also said that you should not eat fatty foods. Some said drinking liquids will make my diarrhea worse, and others have also said that diarrhea goes away on its own and I don't have to struggle, no medication, I just need to be myself and it will go. But let's get into it. Exactly, doctor, many people want to know what exactly is diarrhea. Let's start from that.
Okay, you know what, usually when you say diarrhea, it's just that the frequency with which you go to toilet and the consistency of what you pass out. And so usually you're supposed to have soft to medium stool, well formed, and usually maybe once a day, max twice a day. And so for some people, morning and night. For some people, mornings or night. For some people, maybe every other day.
Yeah,
it should be about that. If you're eating well. If you're not eating well, you're not going to pass. You're not going to go to toilet. It's a function of eating well. So, diarrhea means that the stool is now not well formed, so it's loose, and then it occurs more frequently. And we define more frequently as more than 3 times in a day. So between 3 and 5 times. So, and everybody has agreed. I mean, totally that after the fifth show, you have diarrhea. So between 3 and 5 you can still be, but once we have the 5th episode, you already have to just put it.
Just mellow. Okay, so before we mellow, I was going through some of this analysis online, and I saw, according to World Health Organization, that diarrhea is one of the leading causes of death among children under 5. Worldwide.
Yeah, under 5 mortality. Totally. Diarrhea diseases. Yeah.
Okay. So they said globally, it is estimated that nearly 525,000 children die from diarrhea every year. And this means over 1,400 children lose their lives daily to something we often consider as a minor inconvenience. Of course, now closer to home, now to Nigeria, the statistics in Nigeria is also disturbing, because according to UNICEF, diarrhea is the second leading cause of death among children in Nigeria, claiming around 100,000 lives annually. For many families, this preventable condition becomes a heartbreaking reality. So let's talk about the families that are really or have experienced this in the past. Really, why does it occur more in children? Why does it kill more children than adults?
Well, okay, let's look at diet. Children suffer because they don't have control over who prepares their food. One. Two, they don't have immunity. So our listeners can judge this. You've gone to one party or two where you've eaten something that did not quite sit well with you.
Yes.
And then maybe on the journey back, you went in a bus,
a commercial bus.
You went with a lot of people. Probably you took a bus together and you went, and then you're coming back. You're feeling a bit uncomfortable, kind of. But like that guy who has to stop the driver, stop, and then he runs to the bush.
I can relate to this.
You can relate with that guy. So he has diarrhea. You don't, because you have immunity. That's what happened. You had the same food. You actually had the same problem, but your immunity protects you. His immunity failed him. Small children under 5 are practically open. They are not immune to anything, so they will have worse diarrhea. Elderly people, they will have worse diarrhea. People that have chronic sicknesses will have worse diarrhea. End of life. People on chemotherapy drugs, retroviral patients, whatever, all of them, renal transplant patients, they will have diarrhea because pregnant women can't have diarrhea because pregnancy is an immune suppressing state. So these are the reasons why some of these there are special kinds of people, they will have diarrhea. But for small children, most of their diarrhea is because of poor food handling. Usually that's what is causing it, and their lack of immunity to counter it. So the water that we all drink, we've been drinking the water for the last 10 years, so we're practically just immune to it. The young child is coming, he's not immune to it. So we're going to use that same water to prepare his food. There lies the problem.
All right, doctor, help us again. You've itemized quite a few things that could be the primary causes, but let's engage and itemize them in a real sense of it. What are the primary causes of diarrhea in our society now?
Okay, diarrhea sometimes. There's something that we call running stomach, which is the preamble to diarrhea. Maybe you've eaten something that's practically not sitting well with you, your stomach. So consider it like as if you're flushing a toilet. Something is inside there, you don't like it, you flush it.
Flush it out.
Yeah. So your stomach and your system. When I say stomach now, I'm using it as a figurative representation of your GIT, your gastrointestinal system.
Yeah.
So it flushes everything out. Until that thing is flushed out, it can be toxin, it just keeps. So you keep having that. Do you have diarrhea? But that's what it's doing. It's trying to flush out. That's one cause. Two.
So it's even a response of your system.
Oh yes, it can be a response to your system. Two, it can be that you're taking a drug. Some people are taking some drugs, antibiotics. You've taken some drugs that you take it, they will say,
yeah.
There you go, you take it, you know that you have to go to the toilet with it. So some drugs are like that. For some people, it can be because of reaction to a psychological thing. God forbid bad news. Somebody tells you something very horrible now, you will go to the toilet. That's one of the things.
I think I want to recall one situation like that when I was in school. I was to present in front of my lecturers, and I remember I went to the toilet so within the space of 5 minutes.
So that deep psychological thing, losing your bowel immediately. So it is a so you call it an atavistic memory response. That's in our ancient genetic lineage. When you have those kind of fear and you need to now get up and move, the first thing you do is to empty your bowel.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, doctor. Take us a bit further now. I want to know how we can differentiate a mild case of diarrhea and something that is more severe. So
you see, the problem is that don't differentiate.
Okay.
You see, the mistake everybody makes is that when it starts, what makes diarrhea uncomfortable is that when it starts, you don't know when it will end. It's when it has ended that you can then go back in time and say, okay, it's mild. That's when you can say mild. That diarrhea, we generally divide into like 4 acute diarrhea. In 2 to 3 days is done, max. So you move your bowel in 2 to 3 days, you are out of it. Usually as a response to toxin, as a response to bad food, as a response to drugs, psychological stuff like that. It's an immediate thing, but it will be very uncomfortable in that time. Then there is one that we call the persistent. So that goes from like 3 days it keeps going for like 3 days to 3 weeks. That's where you put all the diarrhea proper, you know. And then you have the chronic. That goes for more than 1 month. So that's now a response to the immune system, adults, HIV, AIDS, cancers, stuff like that. So those ones take another special. So the doctor will ask you, Baolobere, when did it start? And then again we categorize diarrhea as, is it pure water? There's some diarrhea, and these ones are the worst. See, because it's water, it's as if it's going to force itself out, and you don't have time to hold it to the toilet.
Exactly.
You are the so I mean,
I don't want to make a mistake of farting.
You cannot.
It comes out.
It farts. you cannot. You need to walk on eggshells to get to the toilet. You are hastening to get there. At the same time, you are trying to just balance everything, because if you shift body anyhow, the thing will shift you.
Doctor, why do I think you are speaking from experience, not just from education?
If there is anybody that is listening to us who has not had one episode, or you've traveled in a bus before where you enter the bus like this and then the thing just hits you, and then between that time you will sit down in the bus and you will be sweating. The bus has air condition, but you will be sweating, and every other passenger looks at you and they just get it. They just know not to touch you. Man, that guy is loaded. You know, just loaded.
Diarrhea than your mate.
So you see, so that's it. So if it's just water, it just comes like that. Is it water with some other things? There is something that if you have cholera, the water after some time now looks like there's rice pebbles inside. Once we see it, we know. So doctors will look at it and they know that this is that's one of the things that apart from that, you can vomit with it. You will know that you see that things like that. Is it that there is water with mucus inside? Mucus is what looks like your phlegm when you spit it out. That's what inside. Now that kind of diarrhea is caused by some special bacteria that eats into your system. So they are eating. So that mucus is from your GI wall. They are scraping it out and you are passing it away. So it's another set of issues. Now there is one that comes with blood. We tend to say that's dysentery, but again it's just a continuation of diarrhea. So it's just the material with blood will come out. So you say there's blood inside it too. Then we know that that's a bit more serious than just normal water. And you see, all these things that we're talking about, it's not even it doesn't kill.
Diarrhea does not kill.
No, it doesn't kill. What kills is the water loss.
I was going to ask that, because if people do this for a longer time, maybe like for 2 days, you see the person is most likely leaner, or they are weaker.
So the reason why we're weak is that the body, 60% of the body is made of water.
Absolutely.
Now that 60% of the body is water with salt, actually. Sodium chloride, potassium, small salts. But that's the two major ones: sodium and potassium salt, and chloride salt. So that's what makes the whole body. That's what makes you able to move like that. By the time you go to the toilet the 5th time, you will not be able to stand on your own.
Yes, true.
That's where the energy thing goes. So you will have exhausted everything, and the water that you are losing is being brought from somewhere, usually from your blood, from every part of your body. So they are mobilizing the water and they are flushing it. The same thing, you know, if you're a small child, a 7-year-old child who does not understand the concept of Osino, you know, there's no NEPA to pump water. So you've not pumped water, but he is experiencing a flush for the first time, and he manages to get himself there. He will now he's happy. You know, he can flush the whole tank using that from that one toilet. He can just keep flushing, and he can empty the entire storage tank. Finish. That's what happens with diarrhea. So you can empty almost all the water in the body, and when you get to a point, the kidney will fail if there is not enough water to circulate, to flush toxin that is being deposited in the body and all that. The kidney will fail. The failure of kidney is the harbinger of death. And that's where it comes from. So usually that's why diarrhea, you don't wait, because you don't know which is which. You might think yours is an acute one, and it now is not the acute one.
Okay. Okay, doctor, you would help us. We'll come back to that situation of, talking about dehydration. You were mentioning about water, but that will be after this break. But one very quick one. Are there quick fixes to this? Because I've seen people say, take Gary. Does Gary solve it? Does bread solve it?
I will talk. It is. They are using the principle of physiology.
Right.
When we come back, we'll talk.
All
about
right, so we'll go on a very quick breakdown. When we come back from the commercials, we get ahead with conversation. And this is Radio Clinic on Honor 103.5 FM.
It was Saturday.
Honor 103.5 FM.
lótìtọ́ ni bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni gọ́níyà fíjì ìròyìn tó àmójúbà gbogbo aláfẹ́ ayé tó dé Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites ló ń ròyìn wípé ìgbádùn sodo síbi kan ju bí kan lọ. Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites, elegantly and centrally located in a secured and serene environment. Our facilities include cozy rooms and suites, spacious event and conference hall. Our restaurant serves delicious intercontinental and local cuisines, while our bar is stocked with all kinds of assorted drinks. Ní Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites, iná wa kì í ṣẹ́jú nígbà kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ètò àbúgbò kan falala lẹ́ẹ̀ma lo Wi-Fi ọ̀fẹ́ láì níkọ̀sẹ̀. There is also laundry service and fully equipped gym. Seeing the say is believing. Visit Subcam Hotel and Suites today at Plot 3, Mechanic Scheme, opposite New Garage, off Ijebode Expressway, Ibadan, Nigeria. Telephone 090-6466-7569 and 090-4821-8600. Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites. In hospitality, we lead.
Are you ready to walk with purpose? Walk with pride. It's time for Work with Honor 2.0. Mark your calendars. December 7th, 2024. Join thousands of participants as we take to the streets in a celebration of fitness, unity, and community spirit. Whether you're walking for health, for fun, or for the love of honor, this is your event. Together, we'll make strides toward a healthier and stronger tomorrow. Don't miss the chance to be part of something bigger. Invite your friends, family, and colleagues. Lace up your sneakers and let's walk together with honor. Remember, December 7th, 2024. Walk with Honor 2.0. Stay tuned to Honor 103.5 FM for updates. Let's make this walk unforgettable.
Honor 103.5 FM.
Ribi nice. Achikewa anarabambi.
Thank you for standing by. This is still Radio Clinic on Honor 103.5 FM. Your number one go-to source for health insight and awareness on radio. We bring the clinic very closer to you, and you don't need to budge, you don't need to worry. All you need is just get very close to your radio set or on Facebook, and also check us out on our website as well and get connected to every of the things we are doing. And so we've been discussing about diarrhea, and we were at a junction where I wanted a doctor to help us, because many parents need help, especially with this. Many of us need, because the first kind of like precautionary method or instinct that strikes in for many adults in this setting is that they tell you when you have diarrhea or when you're feeling that way, get Gary, get bread. So I was going to ask you, doctor, can it be a quick fix?
Okay, now those two, they working on the concept that bread and Gary are like sponges. So they kind of just get there and they just swell up and they just clog everywhere. Sometimes it works.
Sometimes
it works. But usually what happens is that the WHO had done the study all over the world. The study was done, and then they concluded that when you lose water like that, the best thing to do is drink water and then put the salts.
The normal table salt.
Yeah, that's where the oral cell thing came out of. The ORS is drink water, but inside the water that you are drinking, when you measure salt, measure small sugar, because sugar and salt triggers the response of the walls of the GIT to swing in. When I say swing in, it means to absorb things. So because usually sugar and salt is what gets to when you eat your food, everything it probably gets to sugar and then salt. So that's how they transfer it across to the blood. And so when you are having diarrhea, you're losing it, put sugar and salt inside water, stir it, and drink it. That when it gets into your system, it will swing the door to the other side, and so your fluid will move back. And that way, you can actually not be tired. So you can go to the toilet 10 times and drink the water 10 times, and it's always as if you are just starting.
Yeah.
So it's like remember that young boy that is flushing toilet. So it's like that boy is flushing the toilet, but somebody has gone to put on the pump, and the pump is pumping the water back. And so it's until you find him and say, stop flushing toilet, come out. So nothing there to flush again. Then the pump is replacing the water. Nobody will suffer.
All right, doctor. So that's like a 50-50 chance of using quick fixes like gari, like bread.
No, don't use gari and bread now.
Use water.
But people that use gari and bread, this is what they do. The gari, they put sugar inside.
Okay.
And then they put salt.
Okay.
And then the salt and the gari and the sugar inside will cross. The gari will just solidify. Once the gari solidifies, nothing can move again.
Oh, more traditional medicine now. All right, doctor. So let's move on now. You were talking about dehydration as being one of the very lingering issue that can lead to death. It can pass on
very quickly.
Exactly.
Very quickly.
So what are the signs of dehydration, and how quickly can dehydration set in during an episode of diarrhea?
By the time you go to the third time, you will feel weak. You start to feel weak. That's when dehydration has started setting in. By the 5th time, you may not be able to move again, in which case you are helpless. And then if nobody discovers you, you may die in that position.
Jeez.
So usually, I always advocate that when you move your bowel and you realize that it's just water, pick up your phone and then call your immediate, in case of emergency. So have some people who will be your, in case of emergency, people who will, they come hell or high water, they will get to where you are. They will come. They will come and find you. They will leave whatever they are doing to come for you. Those are the people that you call. You call them, you leave your door open, and then because they will come and find you. So when they are coming, if they can go and buy the oral cell in the pharmacy shops and then bring it to you, or
take you to a nearby
hospital. Not take you to the hospital. They clean you up. They go boil water. That's the job of the person actually. You just boil water. When you boil the water, let the water cool, and then measure the thing. The big 150, the 1 liter, in a 1 liter can, you put 10
mils,
10 cubes of sugar.
Okay.
If you don't have cubes, you can level out the small spoon, the teaspoon salt, sugar. You level it, and then you put 10 of it inside that, and then you put 1 of salt, and then you mix it together, so the person will drink that. So that's 1 liter of fluid replaced. The whole blood plus everything is probably maybe like 7.5 liters of fluid, of which you can lose 1 liter at every bowel movement.
Wow.
So you should drink that thing. So once
to replenish.
So that's how you is it again. This is where the government problem comes in. If government was functional, and that number that we were calling that didn't go through, if your life depends on it,
I kind of knew you were going to bring it up.
That's not the number that you're going to call. Don't call that number that the governor said, because if the governor has diarrhea, he's not going to call that number. He's going to call somebody to come and pick him up. If you call that number, you will die. You will die, because the number will not go through, and nobody will have record of you dying anyway. So call your family and friends.
Call your doctor.
Don't call your doctor. Doctor is not going to come and get you. You call your doctor. He's busy. Imagine your doctor is going to theater when you are calling him. He just takes your call. Okay. Be making it to the hospital. Okay. Bye, Paka. He brought the food. As he's saying it, somebody is bleeding in his friends. By the time he remembers you, it's an RIP matter. Call somebody to whom you are a priority. That person will come for you, and then the decision will weigh on that person. But when that person gets to you, first set of job to do, clean you up, get that water going. So sometimes I will recommend buy the water. I don't want to mention the name of the water
product. Yeah.
So put it to those bottled waters. Buy them, the big ones, then bring them. So two big containers of that water is 3 liters. It's 1.5.
Does it have to be at room temperature? Must it be cold or hot?
You cannot drink hot water.
Okay, so what should it be?
It should be one normal temperature.
Warm?
Not really warm. Doesn't have anything to do with the temperature.
All right.
The core temperature is hotter than the outside temperature. So whatever you drink is going to enter and get to the core temperature. So drink normal water. You can drink cold water if that's what you like. It doesn't make any difference to eat. Whatever you eat, hot or cold, is stabilized inside. So it really doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
What's important is the volume and then the salt. If the volume is lower than that, it means that place is hypertonic. It will bring more water there. If it's hypotonic, it means there is more water than that. The thing will not go in quickly. It will not get in enough. So 1 liter, 10 cubes sugar, 1 small spoon of salt with leveled up. Or if you're going to get the cubes, get the tablespoon and then just scrape it off. That's what you do. And you do that until you are able to get to the hospital. Until you get to the hospital. But while you are going to the hospital, that's what you'll be giving the person. He must be drinking it. If we had paramedics and emergency medical services,
that's functional.
You call 999 or 911, whatever you are going to call, you call that number, then they come get you. Once they get you, clean you up, put you on wheelchair, and they put a line and then they run fluid into you. It's the same thing.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. That was going to be my next question, but you've solved it already. That how should caregivers manage diarrhea in children at home, and when should they seek medical help?
If the child is taking breast milk, you are solved. Don't water, don't mix anything. Child goes to poo-poo, put breast milk.
Again.
Yeah, give everything is there. Give breast milk. Child goes to poo-poo, give breast milk. More breast milk. You just poop, drink breast milk. If the child is no longer taking breast milk, then he goes through this oral rehydration solution.
Can a woman, sorry to cut you, can a woman who is pregnant and then has diarrhea, can she breastfeed? Does it not affect the child?
If you are pregnant and you have diarrhea, those are two very bad things. You cannot be asked to breastfeed at the same time. But by the time a woman is getting pregnant, the concept of breastfeeding is, we have assumed, unless there is a problem, and you should not have a problem if you listen to your doctors. If you have a child now, you go on contraceptive immediately until you are able to wean that child. It means that child will be 2 years before you remove the contraceptives, and then you can then get pregnant. But if you risk it on your own, what usually happens is that by the time you are entering the 3rd month, you will get pregnant because your cycle will reset, and by the time you will have your first period, you will have gotten pregnant, so you won't see your period again. Then you are noticing your period, you are 3 months pregnant, and then you notice that I can't see my period, I'm feeling one kind inside. You go and do tests, you are pregnant. You do so don't risk it. Pregnancy, which I've had it on this show before, you give birth, do contraception immediately. Before you leave the hospital, do contraception immediately. Then when you are ready, that's 2 years post the delivery, remove the contraception. Then the contraception your body will reset between the 1st month and the 3rd month. By the end of that 3rd month, everything is you are back to pre-pregnancy state. Then you get pregnant.
All right.
That's the best way to do child spacing. That's the best way. So that's another question for another day.
Yeah.
But any woman that is breastfeeding, if it is the mother that has diarrhea, she will not breastfeed.
She should not.
She must not. They will separate the mother and the child.
So how does the child get food?
They will give the child formula. These are the conditions.
Even if it's at a very young age.
Yes, you can give the child formula, because you see, the mother is breastfeeding. The mother is the one going to the toilet. You cannot establish 100% hygiene. If you cannot establish 100% hygiene, it is not impossible that a speckle of the content of the mother's explosive release will get into the child's food via the mother. Unless the woman finishes the thing, maybe the bathroom, toilet combined. So she finishes, she cleans herself up, she enters the bathroom, she baths every time, You can imagine, I mean, you are doing this thing like 5 times. Some people do it like 10 times a day. So 10 times a day, you will bath complete. Soap, water, everything. You wash, you clean up, you dry yourself with towel. You carry the towel, you go out, they go and spread it for you, and then you wear new set of clothes. Okay, then you can think about breastfeeding. If you cannot run through that gamut, formula feed. So it happens. Breastfeeding mother, call somebody to come. Maybe your junior sister, maybe your senior sister. When they come, they will get formula feed. They will put it down. They will do the ORS so that they take care of the child. Somebody will take the child away from your hand so that you will not long. It's like quarantine. Because if you get access to the child might hold your clothes where nobody saw the thing and put his hand in his mouth.
Yeah. So this
is one of the reasons why cholera is very bad in a community where everybody goes to everybody's houses, in those old community. That's why cholera is contagious. You see, somebody has cholera in this compound. 10 children are playing there. Of the 10, 3 will pick something. Where you dispose of the fecal matter is a very important thing. Again, government should make sure there are some houses in Ibadan that don't have toilets.
All right. We'll talk about that further, and we'll talk about ORS, which is oral rehydration salt as well.
Yeah.
But that'll be shortly after this commercial break. Join us again on Ano 103.5 FM, and this is Radio Clinic.
It was Saturday.
Ano 103.5 FM.
Ìmísí Ọlọ́run látọ̀gbọ̀n ọdún nìyẹn, ẹ̀rù rẹ̀ tó bà. Covenant Praise Night ti pé 20 ọdún níbi tí màmá Rebecca ti gba ìmísí orin alágbára ni ẹ̀rù rẹ̀ tó bà. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti mọ rírì Ọlọ́run nínú orin yìí àti ìpè màmá Rebecca Afọlábí, gbogbo níjọ akọrin ìjọ gbogbo àtẹ̀yìn òjíṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run ni à ń pè síbi àjọ̀dún 20 ọdún tí Ọlọ́run májẹ̀mú, celebrating the 20 years of Covenant Praise Night with 20 praise ministers and great ministers of our time. Olórin ẹ̀mí ogún ni ó kọrin pẹ̀lú màmá Rebecca Afọlábí nínú àjọ̀dún 20 ọdún tí Ọlọ́run ẹ̀rù rẹ̀ tó bà lábẹ́ olùgbàlejò àgbà Reverend E.O. Olúbíyì nínú ìjọ wa Assemblies of God Church àdójúkọ NNPC Junction Àpáta Ìbàdàn láago 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ sáago 6 ìdájí ọjọ́ 15 oṣù kọkànlá. Ẹ jẹ́ kí gbogbo wa wá bá màmá Rebecca Afọlábí dúpẹ́ o. Ẹ máa pè 08079086220 fún àlàyé kíkún. Ọlọ́run ẹ̀rù rẹ̀ tó bà ń retí yín o.
Ìsọjí agbára dé Revival 2024. Philip Oyewale Ministries in conjunction with First Baptist Church Awe presents Revival 2024 with the theme Who will roll the stone away for us? Matthew chapter 28 verse 2. Níbi tí wọ́n ti ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ ara wọn pé ta ni ó bá wa yí òkúta kúrò lẹ́nu bójì. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àrágbá yamuyamu agbára Ọlọ́run alààyè ló ń farahàn láti pàṣẹ iṣẹ́ ìránṣẹ́ áńgẹ́lì. Òkúta àdènà di yíyí kúrò. Ilẹ̀kùn ṣí ọ̀nà ńlá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni nínú ìrírí agbára Ọlọ́run alààyè yìí ni Reverend Dr. Philip Oyewale yóò ti máa wàásù ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run alààyè pẹ̀lú agbára ńlá tí yóò máa la ọ̀nà fún oníkòjìkò ènìyàn. Ìsọjí bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọjọ́ àìkú Sunday ọjọ́ 10 oṣù kọkànlá títí di ọjọ́rú Wednesday ọjọ́ 13 oṣù kọkànlá 2024 láago 4 àbọ̀ ìrọ̀lẹ́ pẹ̀lú olùgbàlejò àgbà rẹ̀ ní First Baptist Church Àwẹ́ ìyẹn Reverend Dr. Peter Ajao. Kò tán síbẹ̀ onírúurú àwọn nǹkan amáyédẹrùn ni wọ́n mọ̀ pé tí àyẹ̀wò ìlera ọ̀fẹ́ yóò sì tún máa lọ ní fẹ̀gbẹ́kẹ̀gbẹ́. Ìpàdé di First Baptist Church Àwẹ́ ní November 10 sí November 13 2024 aago 4 àbọ̀ ìrọ̀lẹ́ nípàdé. Jésù lolúwa.
ọjọ́ kan òjò ó borí ẹgbàá ọ̀dá àṣálẹ́ orí ọ̀fẹ́ bí èèyàn bá ti ń forí jágbójájù ti pẹ́ ó ṣeé ṣe kó jẹ́ ojú ọ̀nà lọ́jọ́ kan. àṣálẹ́ orí ọ̀fẹ́ àìrójú àìráyè wàhálà lọ́jọ́ pípẹ́ lè rọ́ wọ́pẹ́ lálẹ́ ọjọ́ kan. àṣálẹ́ orí ọ̀fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Night of Grace 2024 ni mò ń sọ nípa rẹ̀ eléyìí tí Providence Baptist Church ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ èyí tó wà ní General Gas Road ìyànà Church Ìbàdàn tí yóò máa wáyé ní ọjọ́ ẹtì Friday November 15 2024 nínú ìṣọ́ òru tí ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní aago 10 àṣálẹ́ 10 p.m. àkókò ìgbédìde ni àkòrí ìpàdé moments of lifting níbi tí àwọn ikọ̀ àtìríjú olódùmarè yóò ti máa pàṣẹ agbára orí ọ̀fẹ́ sínú ayé onípòjìpò èèyàn tó bá wà ń bẹ̀. Reverend Ọláwuyè, Reverend Jacob, Pastor Akin Ọ̀pátọ́lá, Reverend Dr. Philip Oyewale, olórin ẹ̀mí àṣálẹ̀ ọjọ́ náà ni Lady Evangelist Wùnmí Babalọ́lá. Nígbà tí Reverend and Mrs. John Adika yóò máa jẹ́ olùgbàlejò. Ìpàdé di ọjọ́ Friday 15th November 2024 at 10 p.m. prompt. It's moment of lifting again. Orí ọ̀fẹ́ yóò sọ̀rọ̀ wá sì rí tiẹ̀ ṣe tó bá lè wà ń bẹ̀. Jésù ni Olúwa.
Ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé nídìí ṣíṣètò ìrìnàjò lọ sókè òkun sáwọn ìlú bíi USA, UK, Canada àti Ireland. Lára àwọn tó máa ń mú rẹ̀wẹ̀sì ọkàn bá ẹni tó bá fẹ́ rìnrìn àjò ní owó tí wọ́n kọ́kọ́ san fún àwọn ẹ́jẹ̀ǹtì àti iléeṣẹ́ tí yóò ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́. Àmọ́ pẹ̀lú iléeṣẹ́ Study Across Globe ẹ ò nílò owó àsánlẹ̀. Kódà ẹ ò ní san kọ́bọ̀ lẹ́yìn tí gbogbo ètò àti study visa yín bá jáde. Ẹ ó gba ìtọ́nisọ́nà lórí gbígba visa, yíyan iléèwé àtàbálẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ àti àmọ̀ràn lórí iṣẹ́, ẹnu owó iléèwé, owó ìwé ìrìnnà àtàwọn míì bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́ ó san sókè òkun. Travel to study with Study Across Globe. Application processing fee is 100% free. That means you will get visa assistance, course selection advice, scholarship assistance, and career counseling without paying a dime. Call 0907-793-5356 or 0907-848-3462. Awani Damin Plaza, number 42, MKO Abiola Way, Ring Road, Ibadan. Our head office is located at number 73, Oluwatobi House, Allen, Ikeja. On Instagram, we are at Study Across the Globe.
On 103.5 FM.
Ribi nice. Achikewa anarabambi.
Health is wealth, and that's what we are saying. Just to also mention that December 7 will be a time to walk with Honor Season 2, 10-kilometer distance fitness walk from Honor FM to Adamasingba Stadium right here in Ibadan. Of course, the Red Roof City, like we call it, is going to be by 7 a.m. And then for inquiries, you can also contact Honor FM on 007-080-7794-3457. You can also join this conversation if you have questions about diarrhea that we've been treating this day. Of course, you can call the studio lines to call are 091-510-35555 or 070-480-01035. You can also drop your comment on Facebook, and we'll take it as much as we can today. We have a consultant, medical practitioner, Dr. Babatunde Babasonya in the house, who's been helping us into every of our sagas that we've had in the past about diarrhea. Some of us rushing into toilet, and he was telling the story before now. But let's get straight into the ORS situation now. Oral rehydration salt, like you called it. Can you explain how ORS, how it works, and why they are so effective in treating dehydration from diarrhea? I think you've mentioned quite a few things about this, but just in perspective or more concisely, can you help us to the breakdown of how these salts would actually help in the body system?
So the point is that the fluid that comes out of you, essentially water and salt. It's water and salt. There is the sodium is the biggest salt in the body. It's the one that carries the weight of a lot of things. So
I'm sorry, sir. Where does this water stay now? Is it in our blood?
Your blood.
But if I take something now, does it go straight into my blood?
It goes straight to your blood. Everything you take goes straight to your blood. When you eat bread, the bread is broken down into smaller and smaller and smaller. So you start chewing the bread. So you're breaking down into smaller pieces. Then after some time, some reactions will start, and then it goes down. And more and more, so until it gets to a point where it becomes sugar. So bread, eba, iyan, asaro, pounded yam, whatever becomes sugar, simple sugar, glucose,
they
fructose.
synthesize to that.
So then it gets to that small sugar. That's when they can cross into the blood. So that barrier they can cross. Your meat, chicken, fish, whatever, gets broken down to amino acids. Then that's a day cross. Then your fat, so the oil on your soup, the butter, the whatever they are eating, they get into fatty acids, and so they cross like that. So those are the three constraints. Then vitamins and all those.
Wow.
Like that. So salt is now in your eye. your eye, as you are closing your eye, you know it's as if it's lubricated, it's smooth, it's
Yeah.
shiny, it's water. That water maintains it. Your mouth has saliva, that's why it's not dry. When you breathe out, if you test in the morning, breathe into a glass, you see that there is water. That's water that you are breathing out. Your
In gaseous
joint
form.
has water, that's why you can move it like that. Your lung, there is water covering it, that's why it's lubricated, it goes up and down smoothly. If it doesn't have water, it's as if you are doing like this. If you do like this for 5 minutes,
Sure.
this place will start having problem.
Yeah.
So water has in every part of your body. Then your skin, as small, smooth, shiny as is there, there's water. There's water inside it. So now when the diarrhea comes, they look for the water everywhere. So your eye can actually go in. The eye will go in, the skin will be shrunken. So we know that the person is dehydrated. The tongue will be dry, very dry. In fact, a lot of things. So by the time you get to that stage, the kidney will shut down.
Wow.
When the kidney shuts down, because of, we call it acute renal insufficiency, then the pathway towards dying is being established.
All right.
If you don't catch it at that time, it may be too late. Sometimes you get there, it's too late, the kidney has gone into renal failure, and then goes to chronic renal failure.
Wow.
Then the person needs to have dialysis every week,
Wow, and it's very expensive.
Oh dear.
Oh my. Okay, thank you very much, Doctor, for all of this. Your high point. I mean, there are many things I'll take away from this particular program. I'm sure for many people that have listened to us, we might probably have another edition on this particular topic. We might have a series or a sequel to this as well. But of course, just like we know, this is how much we can take on Radio Clinic today on Honor 103.5 FM. Thank you, consultant Dr. Babatunde Babasanya. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition. All right, Nigerians, thank you for listening to us. Of course, let's spread awareness on this issue of diarrhea and encourage preventive measures in our communities. Each step we take is towards better sanitation, access to clean water, and educating others brings us closer to saving lives, especially the most vulnerable ones. So thank you for tuning in to Radio Clinic and Honor today. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember that small actions make a big difference. Until next time, my name is Anoluwapo Idowu. Thank you very much for joining us. Good afternoon.
Ribi nice, àti kéwà araba mi.